So that's so good to see you. To see you all. It feels like that at the moment we arrive here all together, we sit in each other's presence, that something shifts already. Because we shift our attention to the Dharma. Yes. I will give some a short introduction on the practice we are going to do together. Then we'll do the practice and then we'll see what happens next. It was a request and I say, yeah, well, very good to do that. It's a bit different than the practice we've done already together a while ago. Last time we did the metta practice using phrases. And if I remember correctly, it was metta towards ourselves. And here we will do a different kind of metta practice. This is radiant metta. So it might sound a bit, what is she talking about? Okay, so it's important to try not really to conceptualize it or try to not overthink it, okay? Because you've never done that, you don't know even if it's possible to do it. So do not try to think what is the best way to do it, okay? Just follow along and then see what happens. Don't get caught or I do not do it correctly, I don't know how to do that, and because the thinking will take over, and we are trying actually to work from the heart. You will see by yourself. Okay, and it's a way to do it. I will offer a way to do it, but then after that, when you will practice for yourself, then you can be a creative and see what works for yourself. Okay? Yes. And if you think that you do not manage to do it, then you have to keep in mind that it's the intention that is key. The good intention for all sentient beings, including yourself. And that's enough. Good intention, the intention to practice this meditation is enough. All right. What else I have to say? Yes, this kind of practice of radiating metta, that we can also translate as goodwill, loving kindness, benevolence. Yeah, we can say also friendliness. There are many words for metta actually. This is why we keep using metta, because it has different facets. And this way of practicing the radiant metta in different directions from all sentient beings is actually written like that in the suttas. And I will offer a chant afterwards, so you can remember the practice. So I will chant, and then I will send you, I think, to all of you the chant, and then I will tell you how to practice it and when to use it. Alright, so let's start with the practice. So the very first thing is to invite ease into this body. Put our attention into that body. Feel it as a wall. From the legs to the head, the space around it, the aliveness inside it. It is that it is. It is what it is right now. Painful feelings are painful feelings. Pleasant feelings are pleasant feelings. This is the body with its tightness, some contractions, some ease maybe. Everything is welcome as it is. Breathing body, living body. Full of movement, of energies. And there is the mind, thinking mind. It might be still agitated from the activities we've just done. That's okay. That's also the aliveness of the thinking mind. It might be a bit numb, or calm, at ease. We can just welcome its activities that are natural. So we invite ease in that body-mind. Allowing it to be. Without judging, it's just coming and going according to conditions that we are not in control of. Now I invite you to bring to mind a benefactor A benefactor is a person or a being, and in the presence of that benefactor you feel at ease. It's an easygoing person, or maybe a child or a pet. You bring into mind, you try to visualize him or her, if you can, or it can be a felt presence or just a resonance. It can be a spiritual guide, the Buddha, Jesus, can be your dog, someone who gives you kindness and to whom you can also easily give kindness, and in whose presence you feel at ease. Just imagine sitting with that person, feeling safe. Feeling enough. No demand with that person, that being. If nobody comes to mind, well, you can imagine just being under the sun and feeling the sunbeams on your face. Feeling at ease in that moment. Receiving those beams of light on your face. With that benefactor in mind, you can smile to that being and receive back his smile, her smile, its smile. Feeling safe, at peace with that person. That being, that light. Feeling in the body this welcoming presence in the heart area. How does it feel to receive that simple goodwill, sharing each other presence? In simplicity and kindness, friendliness, harmlessness. Giving to that being, receiving from this being. Feeling this sense of well-being in starting, being in that presence of goodness, your own goodness and the goodness of that being. Natural, simple goodness, no expectation of any sort, no judgment, no should. Keeping that being in mind, the feeling sense of that being, the energy of its presence, or a kind of resonance. And suffusing the entire body with that feeling of safety. Of deep trust. Now I'm inviting you to connect with your heart area. It might feel tense, open, or is okay. Any status is valid. And from that heart center, we can start to radiate the feeling that has been cultivated forward. So you radiate forward like your heart was a light, and you're just switching on that light and radiating the light forward. With your heart imbued in loving kindness. First, this energy, this light, this movement, this breath can reach the people in the same room than yourself. And in that light, it contains the wish to be safe and at ease for them. It can reach the wall, and it has no boundary, so forward it can go through, pierce all matter, and go forward to the city. And with that light radiating forward, it touches every being, even further forward to the country, to the planet, to the universe even. It touches everyone, regardless if they deserve it or not. It touches everyone the same way. All beings, seen and unseen, born and unborn. That universe, or if you are able to reach other dimensions and domains, then you can reach those beings there as well. This intention to wish all sentient beings, wish them to be safe, healthy, strong, to be strong and happy, free from suffering, including yourself. Now, the same way we can radiate this goodwill to the right side of our body. Again, it first touches people around us, in that building, in that city to the right, to the country, to the planet on the right, without limit, further and further expanding to the right, without boundaries. Goodwill, benevolence for everyone. These wishes of goodwill touches everyone the same way. Immeasurable. The heart can expand without limit to the right. Now again we can come back to our heart center and look at this little flame of metta. This intention to touch every sentient being with goodwill, with kindness, simplicity, friendliness, regardless if they deserve it or not. And now we can radiate backwards. So we now from our back to the wall behind us, in the entire house or building, touching everyone the same, expanding to the back, limitless, touching every sentient being the same. The animals, humans, beings that are seen and unseen, born and unborn, in all realms, from all planets of this universe, beings that we can even not imagine. May they be free from suffering. from our close neighbors to creatures on other planets. May they be safe. With the same expansion, we can radiate this light, this breath, this intention of benevolence, of safety, of deep peace to our left side of the body. Like a beam of light, it touches the wall of this room, the people around us on the left side, expanding to the walls, to the windows, touching every heart on our left side, not deciding who is gonna get it, everyone the same. You expand as much as you can. Far, far away, leaving no one outside of this beam of metta. May you too be safe and safe and happy. May you too be free from suffering. So this intention of goodwill, we can also radiate, so this heart feeling downwards, so this body containing earth element on the earth can also radiate downwards, not leaving anyone untouched. Beings living in that earth, in the ground, in all realms of existence. Every being touched by this wish of love. Expanding downwards, far, far away, without limit. Everybody receiving this light of metta, regardless of its nature, wishing every sentient being to be safe, protected, free from suffering. May I be safe too. May I be happy too. And radiating again and again, further and further away. Now we can radiate this feeling of metta upwards, above our head, to the ceiling, piercing through, going through the ceiling, touching all creatures of the sky, even above, in the heavens. In the universe, radiating far, far away. Leaving no one untouched. Welcoming everyone in that beam of light. May every creature, seen and unseen, born and unborn, all planets, all realms, may they be safe and happy, like I wish to be safe and to be happy. Radiating metta from the heart center in all directions, expanding, expanding. Touching every being without distinction, without separation. This light, this energy of metta, this vibration touches every being equally. Including ourselves. You can take a few minutes to take your time. before opening your eyes. Take your time, really, a few minutes. Feel inside your body, inside your mind. Those new boundaries. So I think it's important to notice what's the effect on the mind. So how do you feel? If you feel more settled, more grounded, more calm, actually. It's actually metta practice is considered as a concentration practice. So it can bring you really to quiet, calm, and concentrated mind, actually. And because there is still kind of activity around perception, and then you solicit the mind quite still heavily, then you can reach only a certain kind of concentration level. But it's helping. You can use that metta practice as a first step in order to be already quite concentrated, calm, and then switch to another practice to increase your concentration level before going to the insight practice. Yes. And yeah, it's important to review actually the effect of your practice on your heart mind. Also feel inside the heart, in the body, if it's calmer, if it feels soothed, if it feels more at ease, or if you have this feeling that your boundaries have extended, even if now you still have the eyes open. It's possible that the body doesn't feel that heavy, that it's kind of, I don't know, there is a larger, a more, I would say light feeling about the body, that there is more porosity between what we consider the external world and the body. It might feel different. So this is important to look at all of that, because what might bring you out of your afflictive mind state is to find other way to occupy the mind, and ways to soothe yourself, and at the same time actually all sentient beings can benefit from that, because it's not only imaginary. It's not like we are playing with our imagination in order to make ourselves feeling better. Actually, radiating metta has a direct effect on all sentient beings. Even if you live in a building, for example, and you practice yourself metta quite often, then all your neighbors will benefit from it. It has no boundaries. It touches really everyone, and they might feel happier in your presence, and since you've moved in that building, actually. I think that there is several studies about the influence of the presence of monasteries and monks in certain areas in the United States, and they look at the criminality level around those places. And I think, I don't have the source, so it's just from a recall that I read that actually around these places where monks practice metta quite often, the rate of criminality is a bit lower than elsewhere. So that's interesting. But you will, if you practice it regularly, you will see that your neighborhood or your family actually will change their mood. So you can take it as I would say, a science experiment. Yes. The chant I'm gonna sing, oh my god, on camera. It will be recorded, okay. I will send it to you. I got it from the Common Ground Center in the United States, and it summarized the practice we've just made, and we've done it with metta, loving kindness, goodwill, benevolence, but it can be done also with the three other qualities, heart qualities, that are compassion, gladness or appreciative, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So I will sing chant one paragraph, and then you can change loving kindness with the three others. And all four together, they are called the Brahma viharas in Pali language, the language of the Buddha. They are translated as the divine abidings. So where the gods like to dwell, I would say. All right, let's try to sing. So, let's say, I will abide, pervading one quarter, with a mind imbued with loving kindness. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself, I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. And then you can go with compassion, so it will go, I will abide, pervading one quarter, with a mind imbued with compassion, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth. So sorry for my singing, but so in the Buddha's teaching, it's one quarter. That means front, left, back and right. So in that chant there are no these two directions, upwards and downwards. But what he says that, of course, with the mind, the heart imbued with loving kindness, then you radiate each quarter the same, then the all-encompassing world, and you have to think about everyone, including yourself. Okay, and this you do not keep it for yourself, so it's abundant. You give it away like it's free, like it's a resource that cannot be, that is infinite and exalted. So you do it with open heart, immeasurable. Of course, you can extend your mind, your heart, limitlessly, without hostility, of course, and without ill will, because we can say, okay, you see, if metta comes from a personal point of view, then you see that inside of it there is a bit of still not aversion, but look, I'm able to love you and to send some loving kindness even to you. You do not deserve it. Or you see, we all have this kind of mind where it's not completely totally pure, I would say. So that's okay. I mean, at the beginning it's very difficult to say that you will love everybody the same. So there might be a mix of, yes, maybe a kind of aversion, or maybe saying that I will give away loving kindness to everyone, but not that person. That person I cannot give her or him. So that's okay. First you try, and then you just do your best, but do not condemn yourself because you're not able to do it. Okay? It's a training, really. And you will see that the more you understand, the more wisdom develops, the more automatic it becomes. not automatic in the sense of an habit or repetitive pattern. I will come to that part, because it's very important to understand that those qualities of heart do not come from a personal point of view. So I think I need to address that right now. Those practices are not for you to become a compassionate person. So I'm telling again because I think it's important. This kind of practice is not for you to become a compassionate person. It doesn't come from the personal point of view. And it is in relation to what I talked in other gathering Dharma talks about the practice of anatta, non-self, that we have to recognize in every phenomena, the characteristic of non-self, the fact that everything is not personal, and compassion is not personal. It's also a conditioned phenomena. It arises and ceases. So why do I say that it's not there for you to become a compassionate person? Because imagine if you cannot become this compassionate person, and you feel about yourself that you are not this compassionate person. You meet people and you do not feel compassion for them. Then how do you feel? You suffer. If you try to become compassionate or not to become compassionate, it's the same trap. It's the trap from the self-view. So what do I mean? I mean that compassion arises from understanding of the First Noble Truth. There is suffering. Okay? This is because through insight practice, when you sit in meditation and look at your own heart, your own suffering, the characteristic of dukkha, suffering, in everything that arises inside, let's say inside this body-mind, because you have understood it and look at it with conscious awareness so deeply that there is absolutely no doubt that every other sentient being suffers the same. Because you've put yourself so much in looking at that there is suffering that it's impossible to find any other sentient being that do not suffer except enlightened beings. And this is when it has this understanding, this wisdom, this knowledge of the suffering has come to maturation, then compassion arises automatically. So it doesn't come from the person. Yes, here in that practice we say, okay, the wish, the good intention, this is a start. This is actually a starting point. We still use the good intention, which is still fabricating, making karma, good karma. But what we are heading to is do not fabricate any karma at all, let's say. So compassion arises automatically because everyone suffers the same, regardless of what they do is justified or not justified, whatever, if there is justice or injustice in what they do, or if they are conscious or aware of the bad actions that they they do. Until they are liberated, they will suffer anyway. So this compassion arises out of the understanding of the First Noble Truth. There is suffering. In myself and in others, same way. This is same suffering. It's not different. And everybody tries to get out of that suffering. And because you see it absolutely everywhere, in everyone, due to your own inquiry, then it's the natural quality of awareness, I would say. I say, okay, this topic for Dharma talk is very nice, but then I was very embarrassed when I thought about it. Very, very embarrassed. Because I thought I have nothing to say regarding compassion, loving kindness, appreciative joy, and equanimity. And why is that? Why there is nothing to say? It looks so different. Actually, they are the same quality, and it comes directly from the recognition, from this conscious awareness. I'm always using that word, but it comes from the understanding that you are not the conditioned phenomena. You are not the... You are identifying with those qualities, but it's not only those qualities. There is this knowing nature, and this knowing nature of those qualities, how to say that, I would say even contains those qualities somehow. And once you've recognized this nature, that pure consciousness is there all the time, and that because you do not no longer identify with any transient phenomena, then all those qualities are just naturally flowing from the being. This is not something that how to say that. So once again, I have to relate that to the Four Noble Truths. So the first Noble Truth was there is suffering. So, and the first Noble Truth has to be understood through insight practice, realized. Like, okay, now I know there is suffering, yes. From that understanding, compassion to all sentient beings arises. And then appreciative joy or sympathetic joy is that when someone has success or is happy, you are just happy for him, happy for her. Just seeing other happy, it makes you very, very happy. Because they have success, even you can, I don't know, if sometimes they succeed, you have friends who succeed in something, or people in your family, but see, oh yeah, he doesn't deserve it, or she doesn't deserve it. Some other people have been working more than that and they couldn't achieve that, and then she got it, but her behavior is not that nice, so she doesn't deserve it, or things like this. So we are happy for them, but not totally, we have some kind of we still judge this success. All right. But once you have dwelled enough in conscious awareness, in the witnessing position of all phenomena, then there is this kind of acceptance of everything without any judgment or consideration or characterization of what happens. And because you see that in their happiness, if it's yes, let's say still under the framework of skillful actions, let's say, that means that in that moment they are free from suffering, and yeah, it makes you happy too. Or it's like it's often the simile that is used, and I talked about also last time, is the simile of the mother who has a single child. And this kind of natural flowing love, actually, when the child tries to learn how to walk, how to stand and how to walk by him or herself, then if he succeeds, where you're just happy to see your baby child make his first step. This is just a natural gladness. And this is also natural, yeah, because you do not, I would say also, because compassion with all sentient beings arises, then yeah, you naturally rejoice in everyone's joy, actually. And there is this fourth quality, that is equanimity. So equanimity is more like when you realize that others are suffering, but that you cannot really change that they are there, the heir of their own karma, and that you cannot change really their suffering. So there was some phrases to illustrate that. Let me check that. Yeah, so upekkha, equanimity, is like, you can think, I care about your suffering, but you alone are the owner of your karma. Think are just as they are. I care about you, but cannot keep you from suffering. So again, I would say that the conscious awareness, the witnessing of everything, then it has actually this equanimity aspect as a perfection, because it does not react. So it's very difficult to understand with the mind, of course. You have to go to go in and to realize. So for example, what is the witness of the thoughts, or what is that silence in between the thoughts? Who is the witness of my feelings, sensations? There is the awareness of it all. And what is that? Can we dwell in that? What are the qualities? There are no qualities. Even when you, again, when you dwell in this, in the witnessing position, then, and you just realize that thoughts are thoughts, that you do not, you realize that it's not personal, so there is no identification to that. Then all the burden of elaboration, construction, strategies drops. And when it does that, then there is a kind of, the mind has just released it. It's relieved, and with that relief, due to the realization of non-self, then there is this, I would say, love quality that you realize has always been present, actually. And it might have different degrees or different kind of expression. But it's there, so that's why I was so embarrassed, because I say, okay, it all points to the same thing, that is realizing a pure consciousness, the witnessing that allows all things to arise and cease, or the emptiness behind all conditioned phenomena. And how can it be done? Well, some say just like Zen Master do, sorry for the noise, but just realizing that that's it. Or then you can also do your inside practice. You can do the walking. When you walk, what's happened? Who is aware of the steps, of the left step, of the right step? Who is saying that it's left, that it's right? The activity of your mind, the perception, sensations in your body, what is sense consciousness, and also what are sounds, smells, touch, sights, and so on. Thoughts, what are they? Where do they come from? They arise from what? This is this insight practice that will bring you there, the inquiry. So first, it's better if your living conditions are good, then you can find some practice to reach a certain kind of concentration, and then you inquire. This is the investigation that will bring you there naturally. Putting back into question your experience through the senses. And yes, and do not forget through the mind, the sixth sense. Yes. And then compassion will develop and arise, and will be boundless, because you will understand. The suffering, the origin of suffering. How do we cease? How suffering ceases? yeah, and when suffering ceases, what's left in the heart, in the mind, and well, how to develop that with the Noble Eightfold Path. So in the Four Noble Truths, everything is said. This is the, really the magic of the teaching, I would say. Because I could also have done a very empowering talk about all these qualities, or how you can be a good person, a very good human being, having all those hard qualities, but even momentarily it would have it can feel good, I agree, but it will not completely uproot the causes of suffering. It's a mean, yes, but if it's from the personal point of view, there is always somewhere some kind of, it can be some kind of resentment, or it can be also this energy of becoming, of the need to always be a good person and to do good. And we want to transcend that, to have to be good, to love without any reason. To love everyone the same way, deserving, not deserving, whatever their past, whatever their behavior. Everyone. And this cannot be forced. This cannot be forced. Why? Because it doesn't come from the person. Because there is no person. This is the understanding of what you are made of that will help you realize this not separatedness with others, and that they share the same source of being. I cannot explain it differently. I thought that if I use those kind of empowering words about all those qualities makes a good human being, which is in a sense, it's just a relative way of looking, and I would say that then it would be, you see, I don't feel comfortable with that, because it would wouldn't be totally true, I would say, or it would be misleading. But if we consider it as a relative way, still a momentary way of looking at things, but realizing the non-self is what brings more freedom, I would say, than considering oneself as a good person. Alright, I've repeated the same thing over and over again. I have nothing else to say. You can use it actually anytime. because it helps your mind and heart to recollect to the quality that are harmless. And I think it's a good antidote to ill will, for example, or when you have negative mind state, or when you cannot really, because you have really something on your heart that is still there and that, I don't know, tighten everything. You don't know what to do. You just chant. You know, I used to chant it in my car, in my bathroom, or when I was crying of sadness, or I don't know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't have spiritual guides for a long, long time. Then what do? You chant it. It's very easy to remember, and then you chant it, and then you can also, if after some practice, you can also say, feel that there is something, a kind of beam going around, and it will help you to, yes, to feel good, actually. And because you radiate those qualities, but it affects you as well. Okay, and there are some moments when, let's be honest, you don't love yourself. It's very difficult to love oneself. For certain people, especially when you have because of different traumas, different histories, different childhood. But sometimes it's very, you can love everyone but yourself, something like this, and then you chant that, and because you give to others, it will also affect you. And the more you do it, the more it will be easier to as well love you, because this kind of practice is to touch, to recognize that, let's say, not everyone deserves it, but you cannot distinguish between the others and yourself at some point. Why you say, why you can touch everyone with metta, everyone but yourself? Then at some point it's not only a matter of logic, it's just a matter of natural sense. So, or when you have some grudges or resentments towards someone, then you can recall this chant. And because it's very easy to learn it by heart, when you are in very difficult situation, then you can you just hum it, and then because there is also this I remember what I felt last time when I chanted it. It brings some some energy, like from the heart, and it's uplifting. And this is not something, because of there is perceptions, and this is changing perceptions and meanings, and because of that, this is something that is very difficult, I think, to find externally, let's say in other song or arts or in other kind of media. Here you not only you use this, you shape your perception and your heart, but also you are an active part of it, because it's you chanting it. And when the more suffering you have, the more difficult it is, the more crying you are, because this path can be quite difficult, actually. And the more you chant it loud in your house, in your office, and then it starts to shift. Your heart will shift. And then it will become quite automatic. Metta, metta, metta.